So again, today we're going to cut the confusion. You're going to get your personalized nutrition plan. I think it's so important to understand how we should be eating for optimal health and blood sugar levels because it really goes against conventional medical advice a lot of the times. Some housekeeping stuff. I'm gonna breeze through this. Yesterday we covered why prediabetes is not pre-problem. We talked a lot about insulin resistance and how stress circuits are really the root cause of insulin resistance that's causing the high blood sugars. Today, you are going to learn more about blood sugar spikes, macronutrients, determine like what's your personalized calorie and macros plan. A really, really good meal planning hack I think everyone needs to know. And then that internal tug of war between the essential pains and earned rewards of getting healthy. And then tomorrow, we're going to look a little bit more at the biochemical aspect of emotional brain training, which is so dang interesting to me, at least. I geek out on this stuff. And then I'll need a volunteer to do a brain map tomorrow, which is going to help us identify where are your stressors and where are the wires, causing the stress. It's a really, really cool exercise that we can all do together, but I will need one volunteer for tomorrow. And then I'll talk about our Zivley program tomorrow as well. All right, same structure. So it's some science and strategy first, then need to know information. This is good. Second is EBT and coaching, which I think is, better. And then the support is the best. Now, there are some questions that kind of came in yesterday that didn't get answered during the training yesterday. What I'm going to be doing is we're collecting all of these questions. If they don't get answered live, then we're going to write up an answer to the question and put it on the replay page, maybe like at the very bottom, like a Q&A section. You can also email us at support@zivley.com if your question hasn't been answered yet. But just so you know, there was one about like Parkinson's and hypothyroidism and some really good questions coming in. Those answers will be posted by Friday. All right, my 3 goals for this boot camp, a nice review. I want this to be the best free training that you have ever received. Like there's so many webinars out there. I know that you could be doing so many other things with your time. I'm so grateful that you're here with me today. Number 2, I hope that you love this so much and you find it so helpful and insightful that you share it with at least 2 people. We have about 4,000 people going through this boot camp. Of course, you're here live, but many are going to be watching the replay. And of those 4,000, I hope that 100 of you say, wow, I like her. I like what she teaches. I like her team. I want to be on the inside of this program because I think they can really help me. So my goal is that we can help 100 people reverse their prediabetes, lose weight, and reach their health goals in 2026. Some helpful tips. Whenever there's this coral icon there, that means there's an answer in your workbook to fill out. Be sure that you have it handy. We will have plenty of time to write in that workbook. So don't feel like you're going to miss anything. I will tell you every single time there's something to write down. Try to remove distractions as much as possible. You're going to get out of this what you put into it. And then please engage in the chat. I love that. I love when I teach for a while and then I look back and I see there's like 73 new chat messages. I think that's great. Let's build the community and energy while we're here. And again, ask questions anytime. I have Kendra and Betsy here from my team gathering those questions and organizing them on the back end. If there's time at the end, I will answer. This training is probably going to be at least 90 minutes today. Who knows? Who knows what we get into? I'm here for it. So whenever you need to hop off, hop off. But I would guess around 90 minutes, maybe a little bit longer. Okay, a little bit of a review, different family picture to keep it interesting. I'm a farmer's wife, so there's a combine. Yeah, we just do grain, no animals. And we have 3 wonderful kids, Dawson, Leah, and Logan. He's sick. He's been sick all week, so Justin's upstairs watching Logan right now. I'm a physical therapist and health coach. I saw a lot of end-stage disease and I just like my heart was broke one too many times. And so I really wanted to be on the prevention side of it. And I knew there wasn't a place for that in traditional medicine. So that's why I started my own business. Zivley means to live a low insulin and low inflammation lifestyle. And I've built up over 150,000 YouTube subscribers just talking about blood sugar and insulin resistance. So I'm glad there's people out there that that want to receive this free help. So that means a lot to me. Some important dates. Again, we're right in the middle of the boot camp, which is great. So yesterday, today, and tomorrow, 11 a.m. Central Time, we're meeting right here for the live trainings. There is a bonus training more about emotional brain training for sustainable weight loss that's next Tuesday. You'll get an invitation for that. Replays are posted within 24 hours, and all of them will come down on Friday, the 12th at 6 p.m. So you have over a week to watch everything or rewatch everything. Don't worry if you're missing out on something, you're not. You have plenty of time. Our Zivley program opens for enrollment this Thursday through the next Friday. We only open it up a couple times per year. We run 2 cohorts per year. You can use your HSA or FSA funds for our program. I would suggest you get a letter of medical necessity for from your doctor just for your records, and Kendra can drop a link to that in there. And we start the first week in January. So not really, you'll probably want to go through this material again between now and January, and we have an onboarding module, but that gives you time to kind of get through the holidays and then start the year fresh. No, I will not be talking about my Zivley program throughout this entire training because I really dislike when people do that. So let's get into the science. Did I spell that right? S-C-I-E-N? I think so. And strategy. So the first thing is blood sugar spikes. What is a spike? Everyone's always like, oh, my blood sugar spike. But let's talk about that, what that actually means and what is a spike. The first thing to know is that when your blood sugar spikes, your inflammation spikes and you're going to have more food cravings, especially later on. We'll talk about why. But first, a spike is a sharp rise in your blood sugar levels, typically defined as more than 30 milligrams per deciliter after you eat. So for example, let's say that before you ate, your blood sugar was at 110, and then after you ate, it got up to 150. That would be considered over 30, over 30 of a change, and so that's a spike. Now, what you eat has a very significant impact on whether or not your blood sugar will spike after that meal. So something that's interesting is if you're looking at this red line here, that's like what your blood sugar does when you're eating like highly refined carbohydrates or just whole foods, but a lot of them. So this can really affect that inflammation. And then you see that dip right there. That's the energy, that's the energy crash that causes more cravings. Now, if you eat in a way that keeps your blood sugars more stable, like rolling hills, you're going to have better sustained energy, more mental clarity, less inflammation, and obviously you're going to be able to reduce your risk of getting diabetes. So that's what we're going to talk about today is how do we eat like this? A couple other things happen when your blood sugar spikes. Number one, your insulin levels rise, right? Because when you're eating, when your blood sugar spikes, that means there's glucose in the blood. And like we talked about yesterday, one of insulin's job is blood sugar regulation. So it binds to the cell receptor, that tube slide comes up to the cell membrane, glucose slides on down into the cell. So insulin goes up. You're going to switch from burning fat to carbohydrates. So there's a little metabolic switch there that happens during a blood sugar spike. Extra sugar in the bloodstream is going to get stored as fat because insulin is up, and insulin is the fat creation and storage hormone. We already talked about inflammation. And again, your blood sugar is going to crash. This happens because your pancreas isn't perfect. Your pancreas senses, oh my gosh, like there's a lot of glucose in the bloodstream. I need to get that into the cells because this is really inflammatory for me. So it just kind of pulses insulin out, and sometimes it overshoots. And so when it overshoots, the blood sugar is going to drop even lower than before you ate. And that drop in blood sugar will cause hunger. So hunger hormones increase. And this is just another visual depiction of that. The glucose crash triggers hunger for more carbohydrates. That's why we hear a lot from people who feel like they're eating sensibly, like they might be having oatmeal for breakfast or a piece of toast and some eggs. And what they might not understand is their blood sugar is crashing a couple of hours later, leaving them tired and hungry mid-morning, especially if you're having a lot of added sugar in your breakfast unknowingly, maybe like from coffee creamers or different yogurt brands, maybe like jam on your toast. Unfortunately, all of the sugar adds up. So we're talking today on how do we have this, a healthy level of blood sugar rise and fall after a meal. Okay, this is really, really interesting and important. This is going to be where you are writing down in the notebook. So this is the first thing I want you to write in the notebook and also in the chat. What causes your spikes? Because there's a lot of different things that can cause spikes. The first and probably biggest culprit is refined carbohydrates. So if you're eating starches and sugars like candy, I don't know if you have like leftover pie from Thanksgiving or something like that, but the processing is you're just eating sugar. Of course, your blood sugar is going to go up. Number two, too many whole food carbs. This one is kind of a bummer because we're taught that, fruit is free and whole grains are healthy. And it's not that they're not unhealthy, like they're not unhealthy, but if we're having too many carbohydrates for our personal body, you're going to see a blood sugar spike. So fruit is not free. It still causes a blood sugar spike. It still has calories. Number three, large portions of low glycemic foods. What does that mean? So protein is great. We need to eat protein, but if you're having a huge, huge amount of protein in a meal, your body simply cannot utilize those amino acids right now, right? So it has to convert them into glucose for storage. And so excess protein that you eat, if it's a ton, that's probably going to be turned into glucose and stored as fat. So I've seen that before where I had a client who was eating pretty low carb, but he was still having some pretty big blood sugar spikes after his meals. Well, he was eating like 18 ounces of meat or some high amount like that. So let's cut the portion of the protein back to a reasonable amount. Now, stress. We covered stress a ton yesterday. So this arrow, one of our clients said that she was in a program to improve her public speaking skills. And she was wearing a continuous glucose monitor, and she was fasting this morning. And she gave her speech. Can you guess? Can you guess when she gave it? Right here. At 9 a.m., she gave her speech. Fasting, her blood sugar went from, 70s, it looks like, all the way, I think it was up at like 170 from stress. Stress. Why? When you're stressed out, your cortisol levels will increase, cortisol, adrenaline, and physiologically, your body can't tell the difference between mental stress, physical stress, emotional stress, and it thinks that you're going to be eaten by a saber-toothed tiger. Well, what do you have to do for that? You have to run away. What do your muscles need to run? They need energy in the form of glucose. So when cortisol goes up, that stimulates the release of glucose into your bloodstream for available energy for your muscles to fight or flee the stressor, even if that stressor is mental. That is why stress is so important to control, why your stress circuits are important to rewire for long-term blood sugar regulation. The more we can be in joy, the better your hormones are going to be and the lower your blood sugars will be. This was just wild when she sent me that. Another thing that can cause your spikes is high intensity exercise. So a similar concept here, it's a stress on your body and your muscles are going through a bunch of glucose for that high intensity and your body senses, well, hey, we're running out of glucose in the muscles here. We need some more glucose. So you might see your blood sugar temporarily go up during intense exercise to fuel that exercise performance, but it should go down afterwards. And then some indirect causes of blood sugar spikes, poor sleep, huge. If you're not sleeping well, then you will see higher baseline blood sugars and then higher spikes after meals the following day. A sedentary lifestyle, even even like walking for 5-10 minutes after a meal, doing some air squats, that's going to have a significant impact on your blood sugar. So if you're like, well, I can't work out because I don't have an hour or half an hour to go to the gym, no problem. Just do like 10 air squats every 45 minutes and you'll see a very big impact in your blood sugar level. And then dehydration. So let's actually go back to the exercise. I want you to think about your muscles like a dry sponge. And every time you're moving your muscles and doing some form of activity, it's like it's soaking up the glucose from the bloodstream. So that's why movement's so important. And then dehydration. So your blood sugar is a concentration of your blood. And if you have more blood volume from more liquid in it, you're naturally going to see a lower blood sugar level. This is so, so simple. And I'm always surprised at how many people say, oh, yeah, I don't drink enough water. That might be contributing. Yes, it is. And it's such a simple simple way to help your blood sugar regulation. So, what's causing your spikes? Put it in the chat so that I know where you're at. Oh yeah, and it might be a lot of them. Yeah, stress and sugar carbs. Yep. Yeah, raw milk. Isn't that interesting? So milk has carbohydrates. And so that is one, like if you have a latte, for example, and you're wearing a CGM, I did this, my uncle who has diabetes did this. I was very surprised at how much the latte spiked my blood sugar, but it's the carbohydrates in the milk. Yeah, stress, sleep, hormones, probably all of them, pasta. Yeah, lots of them. And hopefully, you guys are starting to kind of say, oh, well, there's a lot of ways that I can improve because each and every one of these, there's probably 10 to 15 strategies behind them that I could teach you on. All right, if your issue is poor sleep, like what are some things that we can do to improve that? Isn't this a fun time of year to do this with holiday stress? It's such a great time of year to talk about stress. Let's keep going. I want to know what your confidence with macros is. So macros are macronutrients, meaning carbohydrates, proteins, fats. Alcohol is technically one. We don't talk about it because it's kind of, for most people, a little bit more negligible. So what's your confidence with them? Type one, two, three, or four in the chat so I know where we're at. Number one, I've never heard of macros. Number two, I've heard of them, but I'm confused. Number three, tracked before, but I didn't understand what I was doing. Number four, tracked and I understand them well. Go ahead and type. Lots of twos and three. Good. Great. Okay, you guys are in a good place. Even if you've tracked them before and you didn't understand them all, that's all right. You're still probably going to learn something new. We go very, very in depth in our program on them, so I'm keeping it a little bit more introductory level here. I want to give you a little bit of a disclaimer and a little bit of a caveat. When we're talking about tracking anything, that is a thinking brain strategy. So, yesterday we talked about the difference between the thinking brain and the emotional brain, right? Your thinking brain is in charge if you're at brain state one or two, you're feeling great or you're feeling good. Your emotional brain is in charge if you're at three, four, or five. So, somewhat stressed, definitely stressed, or totally stressed out. So if you've tried tracking your food before and you haven't been very successful, like you couldn't be consistent, or you started in the morning and by the end of the day, you're like, oh, I'm not going to worry about that anymore, or that sounds like too much work. That's okay, guys. Like, I want you to just absorb this information and take all of the pressure off yourself for implementing anything. This is good information. You can kind of put it like an arrow in your quiver to use when you're at the right brain state to use it. I cover it because everybody wants to know, but I'm honest in the fact that for our members, I tell them if you're not already at brain state one or two, don't expect yourself to enjoy tracking or be consistent with tracking. Maybe using it like to spot check foods or trying it for a day. It's a great tool, but take the pressure off of yourself. That's just going to add more stress. So instead of like tracking calories and macros very specifically, we have them track moments of joy because that's going to help raise your brain state to make the thinking brain strategies way more effective. Okay. So moments of joy, that's another conversation. But I wanted to give that big disclaimer and caveat. Don't let this stress you out. So let's go over the no spike macros method. So what to eat, how much, and why for healthy blood sugar levels. There's three main types of macronutrients. You can see them here: carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. So carbohydrates, um, there's rice, there's flour, there's bread, pretzels, pasta, cookies, cakes, ice cream, pretty much anything with starch or sugar. Fiber is also a type of carbohydrate, but it's not going to spike your blood sugar. It's actually going to slow the blood sugar response. So we do want to choose high fiber, low starch and sugar foods for our carbohydrates. And then it's also important if you're an active person, you do not need to be fearing carbohydrates, especially if you're doing more high intensity activity. Just from a physiologic standpoint, your body runs on carbohydrates when you're doing higher intensity exercise. And from personal experience, I can tell you I've tried maintaining a pretty high fitness regimen on a really low carb diet, and it was hard. So you want to use carbohydrates strategically, whole food carbs, to fuel your workouts. That's a little bit beyond the scope of what we're covering today, though. Okay. Just wanted to give you a caveat. You don't need to fear carbs. You just want to include them in a way that is best for your body and fitness levels. Okay. Regarding the carbohydrates, I love this chart here. What we're looking at is the insulin and blood sugar response to carbohydrates over time. Okay. So starch and sugar, again, the fiber does not cause a spike. So Pepsi, bread, like a banana, yes, there's a little fiber in there, but there's way more starch and sugar than fiber. Same with the potato. Your blood sugar is going to spike and then it's going to drop pretty fast. Again, if you're running or you're doing high intensity stuff, a banana before your workout might actually help you perform better because there's blood glucose circulating in your bloodstream for your muscles to soak up. Okay. Number two, let's go this way. Net carbs. So a lot of times when you're tracking macronutrients, they'll talk about your net carbs, and I thought it was just important to explain what that is. So the net carbs are the total carbohydrates minus the fiber. So essentially just the starches and the sugars in a food. So you can write that down in your notebook. And then there is a little extra bonus information that I'm not covering live, but it's in the workbook on sugar alcohols because I'll see a lot of like the Werther's candy and different things that have just a ton of sugar alcohols in them. And those aren't always just zero. Okay. So I'm not getting nitty gritty with you today. I do get nitty gritty personally, and that's why I like to know all those details. And in case you did too, I put it in the workbook. So net carbs, total carbs minus the fiber. Let's move on to protein. So animal products, tofu, some dairy products, eggs, fish, that kind of stuff. Protein's the most important macronutrient. Okay, protein, most important macronutrient. All right. Your body needs a lot of protein for muscle, for um, literally like we are built with protein. So we need a lot of it. It has a moderate insulin response, but remember that's because insulin, like we discussed yesterday, is the nutrient conductor. So when that protein comes in and you have these amino acids, insulin has to come up to say, okay, what are we going to do with this? What needs built right now? All right. And if we're not getting enough protein, you might be experiencing some of this carb and sugar cravings, low bone mass or osteoporosis, a loss of muscle mass and strength. I see this a lot with people who have a history of a weight loss surgery and were never educated on proper diet. So their total food intake dropped, but your protein needs don't drop. And so over the next 10 to 20 years, now they have low bone mass in their 50s because they've been undernourishing their body and their bones. Another thing is with GLP-1 medications, if your appetite is so drastically cut to the point where you don't really want to eat, you're going to be under fueling your body. So it's really important if you are taking GLP-1s that you're still getting adequate protein so that the weight that you lose is coming more from fat and less from muscle. Okay, that's going to help preserve your metabolic rate at that lower weight. Eating adequate protein is important for stable blood sugars. So protein essentially helps slow the digestion and absorption of your food. So everything else that you eat, if you eat protein with it, is going to have a lower and slower blood sugar response. You're going to be fuller after meals, so you're less likely to overeat or snack. You'll have healthier muscles and stronger bones. Now, there's a lot of controversial opinions online about plant versus animal-based proteins. At Zivli, we definitely respect all, you know, food preferences, whether it's ethical, religious, cultural. But I like to think of it in terms of food efficiency, and so protein efficiency. So I want you to just compare quinoa versus steak. Yes, there are better plant-based examples, but some people think, oh, quinoa has protein in it. I'll have that. Well, it would take 6.5 cups of quinoa. Um, Here, I want to move that so that I can show you. Oh, maybe I can't. There we go. There's people waiting to come in. There we go. Okay, 6.5 cups of quinoa compared to 5 ounces of cooked steak to reach what's called this leucine threshold. So, leucine is one of the essential amino acids, which is a building block. And you need about 3 grams of leucine as you age to start or like to optimize your muscle recovery and repair and growth. If you're younger, you can get away with like 20 to 24 grams of total protein to give you about 2 to 2.4 grams of leucine. That is why, if you look at the back of all these protein bars, of all the protein shakes, they're going to consistently have between 20 and 30 grams of protein because the food researchers know that's the amount that people who are educated are looking for to stimulate their muscle protein synthesis, is what it's called. But if you're an aging adult, you need a little bit more. Okay, you need like 3 grams of leucine. So one little protein bar with 20 grams isn't going to cut it anymore. So 6.5 cups of quinoa, 5 ounces of steak. Look at this energy efficiency. 1,400 calories in the quinoa compared to 216 calories in the steak for the same amount of leucine. Okay, that's efficient eating. You can get the nutrients that you need from a mostly plant foods diet or from a vegan diet or vegetarian. If you're open to including some more animal sources like Greek yogurt or eggs, I think it adds food variety, it adds nutrient variety, but if you're totally vegan or vegetarian, there are ways around it. You just got to be more specific. You will need supplementation with a branched chain amino acid to preserve your muscle mass. Okay, let's move on to the fats. So here's like nut butters, avocados, chocolate, butter, oils, all the things. Fats have the lowest insulin response. And I'm not really getting too much into how different types of macronutrients affect your satiety hormones, like your sense of fullness. But what's really important is that dietary fats help you feel full for longer after a meal. Okay. So does fiber and so does protein. So that's really what we want to include in our meals to stay full and satiated. So very low insulin response. Even though they have the most calories per gram, you don't need to fear fats as long as you're watching the portions. Okay, I could go on and on and on about this. I put a lot of food lists in this workbook for the boot camp, and then more on the different types of fats. There's polyunsaturated and monounsaturated and saturated and trans. And I just put like a little blurb about those in the workbook in case you wanted to look into things more. The food list will be really, really helpful, especially as you're looking for high protein foods and high fiber foods. So take a look at that, but I'm not going to spend our time together going through, each of those individual foods. Yesterday, we were talking just briefly about cholesterol and how if you increase animal products in your diet, your cholesterol is going to go up. And I always say yes, and you should not care. And this is why. So this was a study. It's an older study, but this information has been out for a while. Your physician may not know about it, but it has been. And so they studied these people, and this is the cumulative incidence of cardiovascular events. And then this is time. And what it looked at was LDLP, which is your particle number. We're going to talk about that in a little bit, compared to LDLC, which is the calculated cholesterol within the particles. Okay. LDLC is what your doctor is checking when you're getting your LDL checked, your cholesterol checked. And what they want is you would have low cholesterol, right? So why is it that people with low cholesterol had the highest cardiovascular incidence? Isn't that kind of interesting? It's because their LDLP was high. And then if you look at the bottom, people with higher cholesterol had the lowest cardiovascular incident risk. But people with high LDL particle numbers, who also had low LDL particles, had the lowest risk. So this chart clearly indicates, and other research too, this is just one piece, it's the particle number, not the cholesterol within the particles, that indicates your risk for cardiovascular disease. So let's look at this a little bit more. I want you to think of your bloodstream like a highway, okay? And then LDLC, which is what your doctor measures, is the total amount of cargo in all the vehicles on the highway. LDLP is the number of cars carrying that cargo. So if there's more cars, there's more traffic, more particles, there's more opportunities for accidents. So something running into the vascular wall, causing an injury, causing inflammation, and then eventually developing atherosclerosis or a plaque. Okay. So heart disease risk is driven mostly by your number of particles, the number of cars on the road, oxidation and inflammation, and insulin resistance, not the total amount of cholesterol. Cholesterol has been demonized for far too long. And if you have this understanding of it, you stop fearing eating more animal-based products. So again, look at this. This is the particles. So all these little cars and then 3 trucks. So many small cars versus few large trucks. LDLC, they might have the same cargo in these pictures, but the particle number is different. So this is a higher risk of cardiovascular disease, more LDL particles. This is a lower risk of cardiovascular disease, fewer particles. Okay. Hopefully this is making sense. We're going to hammer it home a little bit more. When insulin resistance improves, your body becomes more efficient at packaging and transporting cholesterol. So instead of spreading the cholesterol cargo in a bunch of small, inefficient cars, it's going to load up the same cargo in fewer, bigger ones. And sometimes it's going to have more cargo because you're literally consuming more cholesterol through the animal products. So LDLC, the total cargo, often increases on a lower carbohydrate diet. And guys, if you're scared of keto or carnivore, I am not advocating that. I'm just like a reasonable low carb diet, okay? But this is what your doctor is checking, LDLC, and they see it go up. And they say, oh no, your cholesterol is going up. We need to talk about a statin. And we mentioned yesterday how statins can actually make insulin resistance worse. And they have some side effects for people. So LDLP, the cars on the road, often decreases. This is what should be checked. This is not checked at a standard blood panel. So the NMR lipoprofile test will check LDLP. Another marker that can tell you is called ApoB, APO, and then just B. And that can tell you like the number of particles as well. And it's not that expensive of a test, okay? So ApoB or LDLP, that's what you should be checking for your cardiovascular risk. So as insulin resistance decreases, there's going to be fewer particles, there might be more cargo, and that is okay. I like to say, I know that this is a little bit crude, but I like to say your body is not stupid. As your insulin resistance decreases, triglycerides go down, insulin and glucose go down, HDL goes up, inflammation markers go down. Why would your body raise LDLC when everything else is going in the right direction and it be a problem? That's the thing. We think it's a problem. It's not a problem because our body is not stupid. It's a natural byproduct of eating more cholesterol, and it doesn't matter. What matters is your particle number. Okay. So again, even though LDLC rises, the pattern shifts towards lower cardiovascular risk because the traffic is cleaner and more organized. There's fewer cars on the road. So I hope that this makes sense. If it didn't make sense, you can email support@zivly.com if you want more information than what I went into today. So let's kind of review this no spike macros method. I know that was a little bit of a detour, but I do think it's really important and it was asked for yesterday. Number 1, dial in your calories, macros, and portions per meal. What does that require? This requires you get a handle on emotional eating and overeating, which is why EBT is essential, why getting control of your stress is essential. All right. Because when we're in stress, the fullness, the satiety hormones are lower. And so we tend to eat more because that signal is off. And if we're tracking things, that's a thinking brain strategy. We need to be in a higher brain state and less stress to do that. This is really, really simple, guys. Eat your carbs last. So protein, fat, fiber first, then your starches and sugars. So if you're having like steak and like broccoli and sweet potatoes, I would suggest eating the broccoli and the steak first and then the sweet potatoes. So it's like the opposite of what you usually do if you're going out for Mexican or Italian food. They bring you the chips, they bring you the bread first. No, no, no. That should come at the end of the meal, if at all. The goal is to fuel your body to the point that you don't feel like you need it. And it's kind of interesting now that I think about it. Maybe they do that to make us want to eat more food. Maybe they do that. Because if you eat the chips first, your blood sugar is going to spike, your hunger is going to go up, and the bread first, then you're going to be more hungry and eat food. Who knows? I just thought of that. The third one is hydrate a lot. Walk after you eat carbohydrates so the muscles can soak in some of that glucose. This is a nice one. Drink some raw, unfiltered apple cider vinegar before you eat carbs, like 30 minutes before. I do suggest diluting it in water and drinking it through a straw to protect your tooth enamel, but that's going to help kind of pre-digest some of the carbohydrates. So it's kind of an interesting little trick. They do have apple cider tablets, which tend to work, but not as well as the straight vinegar. I would avoid the apple cider gummies because usually there's sugar in those gummies. And it's kind of like, okay, well, we're just going to eat some sugar to lower our blood sugar. It doesn't make a lot of sense. The last one here, if you're doing some mashed potatoes for the holidays, make them the night before and then heat them up. I'm not going to get into the starch configurations here, but essentially what happens is when you refrigerate the potatoes after you cook them, the starch reconfigures into one that is like more slowly digesting and better for your blood sugars. So kind of interesting. Let's keep going on here. Your personalized nutrition plan. We're going to do this together slowly, okay? And I want you to follow along in your workbook. Now, if there's a volunteer that wants to do this live with me, can you raise your hand or put me in the chat? Because I do think it's easier if we have a real life example. There we go. Let me share my screen again and we can get started. Everybody else, please, please, please follow along. Use this work, like use this time to do the work, okay? So let's see, Diane. I take it you're female, so are you currently inactive or moderately active?
Moderate.
Okay. So what we're going to do is we are going to, and I have my phone on me, so for a calculator. What's your current weight?
About 156.
Okay. So we're going to take her current weight times 12. So take your current weight. If you're inactive, it would be times 10 if you're female, or 12 if you are active. So 156 times 12 is about 1,872 calories for maintenance. Do you currently track at all?
No.
Okay. And then is your goal to lose weight, gain weight, or maintain your weight?
Lose.
Okay. And 1872. So a typical recommendation is like a 20% deficit, like 500. I personally find that to be kind of a lot. Like just ballparking it, how does that feel to you to try to eat 500 calories less a day versus like 300? Is there a range that you're like, yeah, that feels a little bit doable?
Was that a question to me?
Mm-hmm.
Probably the 300, like you
Okay.
suggesting.
Yeah. So minus 300 is 1572. All right. And that's right here. So again, her goal is to lose weight. She was moderately active. So we did 156 pounds times 12 is 1,572 calories per day. And then or excuse me,
1800.
yeah, 1872. And then we did minus 300 to get her total calories right there. All right. The math is not hard. It's all worked out in the workbook for you. Okay. So let's be sure everybody's on the same page. Type your answer to number 4 in the chat so that I know, okay, I'm doing the work. I don't have any questions on this part. I don't want to go too fast here. Okay. The other thing, as people are doing that math, is intermittent fasting is such a powerful strategy for many reasons, but it's a really nice way to create a calorie deficit. And actually, it's my preferred way of creating a calorie deficit. Um, I just find it easier, but we're not getting into the nitty-gritties on intermittent fasting, but it is another strategy besides like, you know, sustained calorie deficit over time. There's so many different ways to create a weekly calorie deficit. Okay, Lynn, you can just watch, I would say. If you're like, I couldn't keep up, that's okay. Just watch for now. And if you want to take a minute, go through the workbook. Again, you're just, if you're a woman who's inactive, you take your current weight in pounds times 10. If you're moderately active, you take it times 12. Okay. Then you decide if your goal is to gain, lose, or maintain. And you subtract or add the calories. So for your maintenance calories, it's just your current weight times 10 or 12, and then that number plus or minus to get your surplus or deficit. Okay,
So maintenance calories is if I wanted to stay at the same weight.
exactly.
Okay.
Yep,
And if I want to
exactly.
lose weight, it would be at the 1572.
Yep, yeah, yep, on average. Yeah, so Anne said, how do you calculate the goal? You find your maintenance calories, and then you just subtract a reasonable amount that you think it's going to be. Again, do not let this overwhelm you. I'm going through this because I know somewhere out there like I need to know my numbers. Well, this is your numbers. Okay. This is the evidence-based recommendation for macros. This comes from Dr. Ben Bickman's work, who's an expert in insulin resistance. So, many of you said yesterday that you're in the pre-diabetic range. So, once you have your calorie goal, then we can go about saying, well, how many of those calories should come from protein, from fat, and from carbohydrates? Okay. So, if you want to prevent, about 30% of your calories should come from protein, about 55% from fat, and about 15% from carbs. Now, if you're already diabetic, you have a lower threshold, like a lower carbohydrate tolerance. So you'll have more calories from fat because again, that doesn't stimulate a blood sugar response or an insulin response, and a little bit less from carbs. Now, if your blood sugars are in a healthy range, you can tolerate more carbohydrates. Okay. Is that making sense so far, Diane?
Yes.
Good. Okay. And you guys, we help our members figure this stuff out, but I always tell people don't be picky. But until you rewire your perfectionist stress circuits, people think like this. So that's why I'm talking like this. All right, let's do this together, one step at a time. So, Diane, your calorie goal was 1572, right?
Yes.
Okay. And your goal, what range are we in here? Do you have diabetes, prediabetes, or normal blood sugar levels?
Very minimal pre or normal, like just on that edge.
Okay. So do you want to maybe do
Preventive,
prevent?
reversal.
Let's do
I want to do all three, but
the so
are
reverse
we?
means you're in type 2 diabetes and you want to reverse it.
No, so preventing.
I think prevent is going to be better for you. So what we're going to do is we're going to calculate based on 55% of your calories from fat, 30% from protein, and 15% from carbs. Okay.
That's per meal, per day.
Yeah, per day. Yeah, on average. And again, do not get picky. Like if this is overwhelming for you, just learn, absorb it. Don't worry about it. So determine daily macros. So we have 1572 calories. That's her daily calorie goal for weight loss. If you open up your calculator on your phone or somewhere, 1572, I don't know if you guys know this. I think you can just do like times. And then if you do this is carbohydrates, 15%, you can just do 15 and then hit the percent and that'll give it to you. So 235.8. I'm going to round that up to 236. So that would be calories, okay, divided by 4 because there's 4 calories per gram of carbohydrates is about 59 grams. of carbs. Were you following along okay with there, Diane?
Yes.
Okay.
Don't go in the pasta aisle.
Okay, the next one we're going to do is protein. It's very, very similar. So you're going to take the weight loss calorie goal, 1572, and now we're going to do times 30% because we want 30% of the calories to come from protein. So that's 471 divided by 4 is about 118 grams of protein per day. Then we'll do the dietary fat. So same thing, you're going to take the weight loss calories, 1572 times 55% equals 860, we'll round it up to 5, divided by 9 calories per gram is about 96 grams of fat. So does all that make sense, Diane?
Um, so the fats are 9 grams per calorie.
9 calories per gram of fat. Yep, so it's more nutrient dense is what we say.
Got it.
Yep, so that's why that number was different. Good. Any other questions on this specific part?
No.
Okay, good. I'll show you guys how to like make this even easier too. We're going to do it the hard way first. So determine per meal goals. Let's just say you're having, 3 meals a day. Well, that's really simple. We're just going to take 1572, the calories, divided by 3 is about 524 calories per meal. Okay. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay.
What was the number?
524.
Okay.
Yep. So breakfast, lunch, and dinner, if you're having 525 calories or so, you're going to see weight loss. The next one is determining the net carbohydrates per meal. So we had 59 grams of carbs divided by 3, and we can round that up to about 20 grams of carbs per meal. I like to say, a lot of that should come from fiber. So 8 to 10 grams of fiber per meal is a really great goal. I
Could you
highlighted that because it's not in the workbook. So
could you do
25 to
that?
35 grams of fiber a day.
I'm sorry, could you do that again, what you just did under determining per meal, the
Yeah,
grams per net carbs?
of course. Yep. So what we had there was we had 59 grams of net carbs per day. So that's the 59 is plugged in right there, divided by 3. And
Got it.
that would be the about 20 grams per meal.
Got it.
Got it? Okay. Same thing for protein. So we're going to take that 118 grams of protein divided by 3 is about 40 grams per meal. And the same thing with fat. So it's kind of a lot of words on the slide, but when you go one step at a time, it's much better. Um, 96 grams of fat per day. So that goes right here. Divided by 3 is 32 grams of fat per meal. And then someone had a question, how often do you update these? Adjusted regularly. I'd say like every 5-ish pounds, but man, I would never, ever, ever do this manually. There's food tracking applications that as you adjust your weight, they adjust your macros for you. It's very easy. But I think it's helpful to go through and really understand how is this calculated. So Diane, did you follow along okay there with,
And
yeah? Okay,
yes.
good. Now, the Carb Manager app is one app. This is what we teach our members to use. It does the math for you and it's more accurate. So this is one area where technology becomes your friend. There's other tracking things like MyFitnessPal or Chronometer. You just want to be sure that they track macronutrients. Um, Points, I mean, like the Weight Watchers will track points, but I don't think that that is the most scientific way. And I've seen a lot of people who load up on the free foods and then they're overeating calories in general and not reaching their goals. So I think tracking macros is important. I wanted to cover this because now that you know your personalized macros, you can compare it and see how crazy the standard advice is. So, the American Diabetes Association and US Dietary Guidelines, this is what they recommend from a breakdown. 20% calories from protein, that's not great for muscle. 30% from fat, 50% from carbohydrates. So the foods that spike blood sugar the most, unless you're just like loading up on high fiber foods that are also low in starch and sugar, are going to be spiking your blood sugar. And that's what they're saying to eat. And then this is from the American Diabetes Association, the diabetes plate. So carbohydrate foods, non-starchy vegetables, so more carbohydrates, and then protein. No mention of fat in here at all. I think a lot of them are still afraid of fat increasing cholesterol because they don't understand the LDL-C versus LDL-P that we just talked about. And so if you're breaking that down, it's 75% from carbs, 25% from protein. So we need to update the advice, but we're not in control of that, but we're in control of what we know and what we do. This is from the Mastering Diabetes program, which is a plant-based program. And now that you understand, like let's just say that you were going to do this, they're recommending that you eat. Oh, this you can ignore this. This was from a different example breakdown. I forgot to delete that from the slide. Okay. But 350 calories is going to leave you hungry. 524, remember, that was what we determined for your goal. We had 32 grams of fat per meal. They have 9. We have 20 grams of carbs per meal. They have 60. And 40 grams of protein per meal, and they have 11. So when you understand what does the science say I should be eating, you can clearly compare that to what programs are advising. So I'm hoping, does this bring to light, Diane, maybe like some clarity for you about like what you should be eating or how much, just even a little bit? Oh, you might be on mute, Diane. Oh, okay, good. She said yes. I'm glad that that helped. Good. Okay, I'm gonna stop this screen share really quick. One of our coaches, Beth, she's like my right-hand gal in Zivley. She's also our integrator and a coach. She's like, have you tried ChatGPT for your meal planning yet? And I'm like, no, that sounds brilliant. You guys, she's so smart. My whole team is smart. So I'm going to stop sharing and we're going to do that together. So now that you know what your macronutrient goals are, first I'm going to show you how you can do this so easily. Let me share my screen with you again. So you know how we just did all that math manually? For someone who hates math, this is a game changer. So you can say my calorie goal is 1572. Because if you ask ChatGPT, like what should my calories and macros be, it's pulling information from the entire internet and you might not get any, like you might not get the most evidence-based answer. Okay, so that's why I like to give you this evidence first. My calorie goal is, 1572. My with 30% of calories coming from protein. What was it? 55 or 50%? I think 55% from fat and 15% from carbs. What are my macros? Wait, what are my macros grams? So this isn't really the meal planning. This is like for people that hate math. Um, Look at this. Isn't that incredible? So once you know how many calories to aim for and what your proportion of protein, carbs, and fats should be, you can just plug that in, easy peasy. Give me a 3-day meal plan with 3 meals a day to hit these macros. And then if you want to, I don't like tomatoes, or I like Greek yogurt in the morning, or I like a protein shake in the morning. Whatever you want, whatever your preferences are. So daily targets, and it's going to give you the simplest meal plan. That blew my mind. What do you guys think of that? Tell me what you think of that. Oh, yeah, yeah. Linda said Chat GPT will also give you a shopping list. Yeah, so the stuff I plugged into chat was according to what I just did for Diane. I don't use the American Diabetes Association recommendations. I use science, like what the science says. Right. I'm like, if you came just for this tip, like that saves you so much time. Send me the link. The link, there's not really a link, it's just chatgpt.com. So maybe one of my coaches and team members can put that in there. Seriously, game changer. ChatGPT, but you got to know how to use it right. Otherwise, it might still give you bad advice. So there's things that we use it for, there's things that we don't use it for. Meal planning is one thing that we use it for. Okay. I'm going to stop sharing and we'll go back to the presentation here. There we go. I think that's right. Yep. All right. Any like dying questions on macros? I'm going to take just a minute, review any like macros questions that have come through the chat. Oh, do I recommend 3 meals per day? Yeah, it does. It's just, it really depends on the person and their exercise plan. I, it just depends. If you like intermittent fasting, I think 2 meals a day is great. If you exercise in the morning, 3 meals a day might be preferred for you. From a muscle building standpoint, 3 meals is probably going to be better because you get another dose of protein throughout the day to stimulate muscle growth. So I went back to the slide, but I actually wanted to go to the Q&A doc just to be sure before we kind of switch gears. Okay, I don't see, oh, there, like I don't see anything. Um, yeah, diet soda. So I really like the Zevias. So it depends on the sweetener in them. Um, and again, we're going to go through all these questions and we will answer them on the replay page, but I might just pick out a couple here quickly. Um, I don't like a lot of artificial sweeteners. So most of the diet stuff, if it has like aspartame, acesulfame, potassium, sucralose, I try to avoid it. It's not good for gut health. It can contribute to leaky gut, which can contribute to inflammation. Note 3 grams of leucine per meal, not per day. The dawn phenomenon regarding blood sugars is your cortisol naturally increases in the morning to wake you up. And that rise in cortisol will then lead to the rise in blood sugar. Okay. Yeah, yeah. So, and this is important. What if your calculated protein is way less than 1 gram per pound? I do think that aiming for 1 gram of protein per pound of ideal body weight is a really good goal. So for Diane, unless your ideal body weight is 118 grams of protein a day, I would maybe even bump that up a little bit, but take the calories from the fats, not the carbs, if that makes sense. So if you want to have a little bit more protein to up that, just that's fine. Take the calories from the fats. How to get enough protein when doing intermittent fasting. Do a dirty fast is one way. So you can do bone broth. You can do collagen in your coffee so that you're sipping on some protein. So it's not really a clean fast. And then obviously increasing the protein dose at each meal then. Yep. The gallbladder question, I'll do some more research on and then answer that in the Q&A. Great questions, guys. Keep it up. Okay, going back to the training. I told you we had a lot to cover today. I need a volunteer. So this is going to be again recorded on YouTube, on podcast. What we're going to be doing is going through the essential pains and the earned rewards of getting healthy because there is resistance and change can be stressful. So we're just going to bring all those to surface. A lot of times they sit in the unconscious mind. So if you want to volunteer, you can start putting yes in the chat. And when I get to that point, I will call on you. But before we get there, let's do a check-in. This is going to feel so good. If you have to hop off at any time, that's fine. But go ahead and just turn your attention to your body and your breathing. Take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth, or in any way that feels really comfortable and comforting to you. And put your shoulders back and your chest out. Lift your chin slightly. Bring a warm smile to your face like you're thinking about someone that you love. And then pretend like a cell of your body is flicked up into the air, and you're just going to warmly observe yourself. See yourself in the present moment just as you are, and feel a wave of compassion for yourself. And then ask yourself, what's my number? Am I at a 1, feeling great? 2, feeling good? 3, a little stressed? 4, definitely stressed? Or 5, totally stressed out? So again, that's 1, feeling great. 2, feeling good. 3, a little stressed. 4, definitely stressed. Or 5, stressed out. Take all the time you need. And lastly, strengthen that connection to the deepest part of yourself, your sanctuary, where you have peace and power from within. And appreciate your unending capacity for love, compassion, and ultimately joy. All right, we've connected with ourselves so that we can better connect with each other. I would love to hear your brain state. So type 1, 2, 3, or 5 in the chat so I know where the group is at today. Great. Yeah, so Beth, that's such a great suggestion. I will definitely in the resources below video 2 today, I will print out the instructions for the check-in. So just when the replay is posted in the resources for day 2, it'll say like instructions for the EBT check-in. Wonderful idea. Thank you for that. Check-in PDF. Yeah, I love that. Gloria's a retired Lamaze instructor. Breathing's great for endorphins. I love that. All right, I want to be sure that it was kind of first come, first serve. Yeah, and I worried about that. Yeah, lots of information. I'm like, I'm sure some people's stress level might be a little bit higher right now after all that information. And just go back, watch the replay, ask lots of questions. All right, who wanted to do the volunteer? Can someone put yes in the chat? I apologize if I missed someone. Okay, Laverne. Laverne was first, so I'm gonna have her unmute herself. Go ahead, Laverne. Yeah. Um, where do I watch the replay? All of the replays will be on the same page. I will put the link in there right now. Or Kendra, if Kendra can put the link in there, but you're emailed a link. And Laverne, when you come off of mute, we will be able to get started if you're able to. Otherwise, we can go to Patricia. Thank you, Kendra. Okay, Patricia, can Patricia come off of mute by chance? Oh, another good idea, Mary. Yes, I will. Yes, the chat GPT prompts. I'll put that in the And the resources as well. That's a great idea. GPT prompts. Okay, yes, go ahead, Patricia. Can you come off of mute? Maybe that's me that I have that setting off. Yeah, that's my, you guys, that's my fault. I'm sorry. Hold on. So we will go back to the first person. Okay, my bad. Who was the first person there? Laverne. Okay, Laverne, can you come off of mute now? That was my fault.
I have. Can you hear me?
Yes, sorry about that.
That's all right.
Okay. What was your brain state today?
Two.
Okay, cool. Laverne. Everybody follow along in the workbook. Now, Laverne, this is gonna be kind of rapid fire. You're
Yeah,
just
no
gonna be
problem.
like yes or no, and we are just gonna be tallying them up, okay? If you stay and you think about something too long, uh, it's gonna, we'll be here till dinner time and we'll have dinner
Yeah,
together.
no, I'll be fast.
Okay. Well, and it's kind of stressful too if you like really stay and think about these things. So every action that we take has an essential pain and an earned reward. Okay. The essential pain is the uncomfortable cost of change or doing something. So, like
Hmm.
the sacrifices, the inconveniences, the discomfort you must face. So, there were essential pains for being here today. Like, well, I had to miss my show, or I didn't go to lunch with a friend, or I had a tech difficulty, something like that. But then there was also an earned reward for being here today, and that's the meaningful benefits that you gain on the other side. So, like the outcomes, the freedoms, the improvement that make the effort worth it. So, first question, Laverne, does that make sense for you, the essential pains and rewards?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Now, in emotional brain training, there are seven kind of concrete essential pains and
Hmm.
seven associated earned rewards. So I wanted to go over those first. So I am alone. I am not perfect. I am not in complete control. It takes work. Some people may reject me. I must receive. I must give, and then lots of others.
Hmm.
And then the rewards, again, sanctuary. If you missed yesterday, I'll just review them one time. Peace and power from within. Authenticity, feeling whole and being genuine. Vibrancy, healthy with a zest for life. Integrity, doing the right thing. Intimacy, giving and receiving love. Spirituality, however you define it. And freedom, a life of joy and purpose. And if people are like, why are we talking about this? This is a blood sugar boot camp. This is all about lowering your stress. Okay. And understanding that there are circuits in your brain. It's just a circuit, it's just a wire, but it's causing resistance to change. And so sometimes just finding the wires and bringing them to light can help.
Hmm.
So there's an internal tug of war of I know what to do, but I can't do it consistently. Do you resonate at all with that, Laverne? Or are you not?
Absolutely.
Okay. So you're a good person to do this exercise with. So
Absolutely.
perfect. Okay. Your subconscious brain likes to hide this side from you to make you comfortable.
Right.
And resistance is so normal. So normal. So what the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to identify your earned rewards for not changing and the essential pains of changing. I think we do these ones first. So,
Okay.
what is your overall goal, Laverne? Like health wise, what do you want to accomplish? What does change look like to you, I guess?
So I am a diabetic and I have a real hard time tolerating medicines. So
Mm,
I'm trying to increase my insulin sensitivity and lose weight so that I can decrease these medicines.
love it. I love it. Okay. To decrease meds. Wonderful. I love how clear your goal was.
It's I've been struggling with it. So
Yeah. Well, let's just check them off. I'm going to just tally them up, but for people in the workbook, you can like X them off. And then we're going to go back and add them up. So, essential pains of changing what your emotional brain believes that you're going to have to feel, face, or lose if you change. So, I'm just going to say them and you say yes or no. And if I need to elaborate on one, I will. So, I am alone, and that
no,
could be like, well, I'm the only one in the house that has to ch make these changes or something like that.
no,
Okay. I am not perfect.
yes,
I am not in complete control.
yes,
It takes work.
yes,
Some people may reject me.
no,
I must receive help from others.
yes,
I must give my time and energy to myself.
Capital YES.
Remember that one. Okay, remember that one. Time and energy. Okay. I will feel hunger.
No,
I have to eat different foods.
no,
I can't use food for pleasure, love, comfort, or safety.
yes,
I may have loose skin.
no,
I may have to buy new clothes.
no,
Okay. Everybody keeping up? I hope so. I might feel deprived at first.
yes,
I'll have to spend money on myself.
no,
I have to work out or move more.
yes,
There may be tension in relationships.
no,
I have to face my fears.
yes,
I might be judged by myself or others.
yes,
I have to heal from past trauma.
yes,
I have to rewire my my breast, my talking so much, my brain's stress circuits.
yes,
Okay. I have to face the unknown.
yes,
I have to give up old routines that feel safe.
yes,
You're doing wonderful. I have to tolerate feeling uncomfortable. And this may not resonate with you if you don't really numb. I have to tolerate feeling uncomfortable instead of numbing.
yes,
I have to accept that my life will change and so will I.
yes,
I might upset people who benefit from me staying the same.
no,
Okay. I have to set boundaries I've never set before or limits.
yes,
Okay. I like the word limits too. I have to try things I've failed at in the past.
yes,
I might feel anxious without my familiar evening snacks.
yes,
I have to get honest about how I use food to cope.
yes,
I have to feel old grief, stress, or sadness instead of eating it.
yes,
Okay. And again, these might not be applicable to everyone. This is the last page of these. You're doing great. I have to slow down instead of staying busy and distracted.
yes,
All right, I love that. I wrote slow down on our like remember page. I have to prioritize myself in ways I never have before.
yes,
Okay. I risk finding out how powerful I actually am. Like sometimes people are afraid of success.
yes,
I have to change who I am socially, like dinners, holidays, alcohol, gatherings.
yes,
I have to let go of excuses that have protected me.
yes,
I have to face the responsibility of taking radical ownership.
yes,
I may feel lonely as I adjust to new habits.
yes.
I may feel grief for the years I didn't treat myself well.
I'm feeling that all the time. Yes,
Yeah. Okay. I have to deal with my I may have to deal with my inner critic getting louder before it quiets.
yes,
And I think another way to word that is just like, oh, sometimes when you're cleaning up a room, it just like looks messy before it looks clean, you know? Um, so those are those ones. Uh, let's keep going. So now we're going to be on the earned rewards of not changing. Are you starting to have more compassion for yourself on like why change is so hard?
oh yeah, I've been
Okay.
going through this kind of struggle for about 6 months now. I'm recently retired, and
Oh,
so
great.
yeah, hmm
This is a good time to focus on yourself.
yeah.
Okay.
I taught for 35 years.
What did you teach?
Well, I was a French teacher for a while. Then I was a librarian. I was an academic, and then a school librarian. And then the last 13 years, I've taught English as a second language to non-native English speakers.
That's so wonderful.
Yeah,
Wow. That sounds like a really rewarding career.
very rich, very rewarding.
Yeah, great. Okay, so let's go over the earned rewards of not changing. So the benefits your emotional brain thinks it gets by staying the same. All right. And you might think, well, that sounds a lot like the last one, but we're just going to go with it because your emotional brain is interesting in how it works. So I have to avoid the discomfort of feeling. So by staying the same,
Yeah.
I get to avoid the discomfort of feeling my feelings.
Yes.
Okay. I don't have to challenge my identity as the one who struggles with weight or health issues. It might not
No.
resonate. Is that a
No.
no?
No.
Okay. I avoid disappointing myself again if I don't succeed.
These double negatives are making me crazy. Okay, avoid disappointing myself if I don't succeed. I
Like,
get yes, yes,
yeah, okay. I get to keep my familiar routines around food, evenings, and weekends.
I guess yes,
I don't have to learn new habits or new technology.
yes,
I can blame my weight or blood sugar instead of facing deeper stress or loneliness.
yes,
I get to keep using food to numb instead of dealing with it.
yes,
I avoid the vulnerability of asking for support or accountability.
yes,
Again, may not resonate. I get to stay invisible, like no attention, no judgment, no pressure.
yes.
Okay. I promise we're doing the hard stuff first. The next part is really fun. So just a few more slides. You're doing great. I know. I'm like, oh, this is kind of heavy, but it's okay. I can keep prioritizing everyone else and avoid my own needs.
Yes.
I don't have to spend mental energy planning meals or making decisions.
Oh, yes, yes, yes.
Okay. That was kind of a big one, so I'm going to say meals. I get to stay busy and distracted and not explore my deeper purpose.
Yes.
I avoid the risk of others resenting my boundaries or changes.
No.
Okay. I keep my identity as the helper, not the one who needs help.
Yes.
I get to avoid investing time in myself, which feels selfish or unfamiliar.
Yes.
I avoid noticing the ways I've let myself down.
Yes.
I don't have to grieve the past versions of myself or lost time, but
Yes.
like you're doing that, yeah. Um, I get to continue using food as my predictable source of safety, love, comfort, or pleasure.
Yes.
Okay. Last page. Woohoo. Okay. I avoid uncertainty. I know exactly how this version of me feels.
Yes.
Okay. I don't have to risk success and the new expectations that come with it.
Yes.
I get to tell myself I'll start later, which feels safer than starting now.
Yes.
I get to avoid the identity shift that comes with becoming healthier and stronger.
Yes.
I avoid the fear that change won't actually help, so why try?
Yes.
I get to protect myself from emotional pain by staying in familiarity.
Yes.
I avoid the actual or perceived judgments of others, which whether or I succeed or not. So just I avoid judgments.
Yes.
Okay. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. So 50 is your total resistance score. I just
Mhm.
tallied it up. So I would love to know, we just zipped through those for good reason, so we don't stay too long in those kind of uncomfortable emotions. Um, what is your biggest essential pain to change? You really said time and energy on myself and like slow down. But is there something else that really popped up? And I want to hear everybody else's answers in the chat too. What is your biggest essential pain to change?
It's just the meal planning and the prep and the um figuring out what exactly do I eat, and
Hmm.
and I'm an amazing cook. So it's not like I don't have that skill. It's just the whole drudgery of planning and that kind of thing.
Great. Okay, so that's good that you know that. Did the Chat GPT tip inspire you at all?
Yes, in a way it did. I'm trying to eat more uh like vegetarian things, more veg.
Hmm.
And so I could see, and I've used Chat GPT in the past. I've never thought to do this, but I've also never known what my macros should be. So
Sure. Yeah, now you
um
do.
yeah.
Well, good. Okay, what's your biggest earned reward for not changing? Like, what's the big pull of like staying in the comfort zone here?
It's just easy. It's
Uh,
it's
you don't have to work. Like,
I don't have to work at it.
yeah.
I have to just open the fridge and eat a piece of toast with butter on it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
um, I love food, all kinds of food. I'm not one of these people that it's like, oh, I'm gonna miss my chips and my this. I mean, I love, nice, good food. And so knowing, being able to tackle the macro part and figuring out exactly what to eat that will help me would be so helpful.
Yeah, absolutely. And someone I think said it pretty well, what you're kind of saying there. It's like getting to eat what I want without really having to think about it.
Yeah.
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 Okay, great. Let's do the fun part, shall we? All right. So we did your total resistance score was 50. And I think that we have to like recognize that sometimes, even though you might have a higher resistance than motivation score, some of those motivators might be really, really strong. So,
And I'm
then
going to say this, that
yeah.
that resistance score is very much tied into past grief and trauma and things like that. So, um, the fact that I want to live a good bit longer, keep my hands and my feet,
Yeah.
and, be there for my children in the future. All three have gotten married within the last 18 months. And
Wow.
so, yeah, it's been crazy. That's been a big stressor anyway. But, just feeling vibrant and healthy.
Mhm.
And, you know, the resistance too is in the past, I've never had to work at feeling vibrant and healthy. And,
Oh,
and
yeah.
so this working at it has just, it kind of brings up a lot of anger.
Mm, absolutely.
And then
That would
anger
make a really good EBT cycle.
and anger at my doctors.
Hmm.
They really don't give you any nutritional advice. They just want to throw pills at you, and it's frustrating.
Okay, stay with that. We are going to do a cycle right after we finish this, okay?
Okay.
Okay. Do you have time? Because I told you guys, I'm
Yeah.
like,
No,
we'll be
I'm
lucky if we get done at
retired.
90 minutes.
I'm
Okay.
retired.
All right, let's do it. But yeah, if you have to hop off again, that's fine. I'm not really sorry that this is taking a long time. I think it's really important and you can come and watch it at your convenience. So, have compassion for yourself. All of those points of resistance are just wires, like you said, past grief, past trauma. Now let's do the fun part. So, future you, what are the earned rewards of changing and the essential pains of not changing? Okay. Essential pains of not changing. My weight continues to creep up year after year.
Yes.
My blood sugar keeps rising. You're already
Yes.
on meds. Okay. I don't feel good in my body. My confidence drops.
Yes.
I stay tired, inflamed, and frustrated.
Yes.
I keep having the same cravings and overeating patterns.
Yes.
My clothes feel tighter and I avoid pictures.
Yes.
I keep worrying about diabetes and my health.
Yes.
I stay stuck in the stress craving cycle.
Yes.
I feel disappointed in myself again.
Yes.
My doctor visits become more stressful.
Yes.
I lose strength, muscle, and independence.
Yes.
And you mentioned like feeling in your hands and feet might be another one. My energy stays low. I can't do the things I want.
Yes.
I lose sanctuary, peace, and power
Yes.
within, right? This
Mm-hmm.
is like the most motivating to me when I realized, oh my gosh, like I'm losing rewards.
Yeah.
I'm losing authenticity, feeling whole and being genuine,
Yes.
vibrancy,
Yes.
integrity,
Yes.
right? Intimacy,
Yes.
spirituality,
Yes.
okay? Freedom,
Yes.
okay? And let's do the earned rewards of changing. So just the opposite side of the coin. I gain sanctuary. I'm guessing all of these are going to be yeses, like just down the road.
Yeah. No,
I gain all of
absolutely.
those, right?
All of
I
those
gain
are, yeah.
sanctuary. I
Yeah.
gain authenticity,
Yes.
vibrancy,
Mm-hmm.
integrity,
Mm-hmm.
intimacy, spirituality, and freedom.
Mm-hmm. All of it.
Gaining it all. I feel proud of myself again, deeply and genuinely proud.
That would be awesome. Yes.
My weight comes down in a calm, like a sustainable way.
Yes.
My blood sugar improves.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a huge one for you. I feel strong. So like internally feeling strong,
Mm-hmm.
capable, and
Mm-hmm.
in control.
Yeah.
I trust myself around food again.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoy food without feeling addicted to it.
Mm-hmm.
I sleep better and wake up with more energy.
Mm-hmm.
I can play with my kids or grandkids without feeling winded.
Yes.
My clothes fit better and I feel confident in pictures.
Yes.
I feel lighter mentally, physically, and emotionally.
Yes.
Okay. I gave you 2 dashes for those ones.
Okay.
I have stable moods and fewer like stress spikes throughout the day.
Yes.
I don't use food to cope. I use skills.
Yes.
I feel more connected to my purpose.
Yes.
which is fun for you since you just retired. I feel like your purpose is,
It's open. I can do what
yeah,
yeah, I've got all kinds of,
new.
yeah.
I show up in relationships with more patience and love.
Yes.
I feel calmer just overall.
Mm-hmm.
I become the healthiest version of myself for the people I love.
Absolutely.
I trust myself to follow through.
Yes.
I feel hopeful about my future.
Yes.
I move my body because it feels good to move my body.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I look forward to doctor's appointments instead of dreading them.
I love my doctor, but I hate going to see him. Yes.
Yeah. I rewire my stress circuits and break potentially generational patterns.
Yes.
Yeah. I feel proud to invest my time, energy, and money in myself
Yes.
because I trust that I'm going to do this. I feel more alive, more present, and more joyful.
Yes.
I age stronger, not weaker.
Yes.
I lead by example and inspire my family and friends to get healthy.
Yeah, that's awesome right there.
So we're at 47, I think 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 30, 40, 40. Yeah. But again, some of those are much stronger. So if you had to say the tug of war, is it about equal for you, or is one side a lot stronger because some of those rewards or essential pains are stronger?
Um, I think the rewards of changing are stronger, but there are those few things in there. And if I could get on top of it, like the meal prep and the meal planning, just coming up with maybe five or six
Mm.
things that are easy to just get together and, eat, and could start seeing some positive change, that
Yeah.
it would snowball. I really do think it would snowball.
Okay. I think so too. We have a handout called the 5-minute meals, and I know you like to cook, but this is more like throwing things together. Do you think that would be helpful?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I'll upload that in the resources.
I did bright line eating for a long
Mhm.
time,
Yeah,
and
I've heard of that.
I lost about 15 pounds, and I've kept it off.
Yeah.
And when I'm feeling just out of control, I'll go to those meals that I did for bright line eating, and
Yeah.
that's helpful. It's helpful having something to grab onto when you're super stressed or whatever.
Right. It's kind of like a reset a little bit.
Right, right.
Okay. Well, you did wonderful. I would love to know, what do you think is the biggest essential pain to not changing? So
I
I
think
feel
it's
like,
the just the I think it's the being on top of, and the work that it takes to really uh, um, kind of address this problem. Just the having the right foods at the house, and
well, this would be the motivators now. So
oh
like,
no, it's
yeah.
it's fear of future illness, pain. Um, my
Hmm.
mother lost her feet. It wasn't to diabetes; it was to something else, and I'm terrified of that.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's a big motivator. And
Yeah,
then what's your biggest earned reward? Like,
I just think the vibrancy,
I-
adding more years, more healthy years onto my life.
yeah.
Um, it's just you know I was a dancer for a long time, and my I had to raise my son, so I put that aside. If I tried to
Mhm.
dance this afternoon, I would just be huffing and puffing and
Yeah.
really couldn't do it. But to be able to do that again would be awesome.
Yeah. That's kind of that sign of vibrancy, right? That's
Right, right, right.
great. Okay. I would love to hear from everyone else. Biggest essential pain to not changing. So like what's the biggest potential consequence that you're facing? And then your biggest earned reward or your biggest motivator, like, for Laverne, it's feeling vibrant and like I want to dance again. So let me know. Hey, thanks, Kendra. Good job. Kendra uploaded that 5-minute meals. Yeah, lots of positive comments in here, Laverne. People are really resonating with you. Yeah, that's an interesting. Beth said being judged for what I refuse to eat. Yeah. Like that food peer pressure is real. Yep. Great. Okay. I know Betsy, you sent me a message. Oh, I'm like, I'm way up there. I need to get done. Okay. Biggest reward, energy and strength. Sanctuary, less pain. Yep. Complete control. Right. Martha said number one. So her biggest essential pain and not changing is feeling fatigued. And then the biggest motivator is feeling more fit and rested and spending time on myself. Hmm. Another essential pain someone said was too much work and not succeeding, like that fear of not succeeding. Yep. Great. Okay. Laverne, are you ready to do? Actually, before we get to that, I know we're going, longer, but it is what it is. What is your amazing learning from today? We covered a lot of stuff. We covered maybe next time I host this, it'll have to be a 5-day thing. I don't know. But we covered macros, we covered essential pains and earned rewards. And one thing I wanted to highlight is every single one of those like essential pains. I have to buy new foods. I might fail. Like all of those can be topics of a cycle. And that's exactly what we're doing with Laverne is like, we went through this list, we figured out, okay, what's really stressing her out here? And now we're going to cycle about that to relieve that stress. So you can go through the Spiral Up Light app, exactly what I'm going to do with Laverne to help alleviate some of the stress around the resistance to change. That is my goal for you is we have brought up the resistance and I'm giving you a tool to help get through and work through that resistance here. Okay. Yeah, the motivation score you just add up the last two things that we covered on that side of the tug of war. So macros, leucine, um, yeah, that would be total carbs for your macros, not net carbs. Being able to do the purpose I was called to do. Oh, yeah, I can get that. Thanks, Laverne. That's just the setting that we figured out, right? Okay, now you can unmute yourself. All about macros. I didn't know this. Yes, you will get an email for the replay. I'm glad it was illuminating. Okay, great. Let's do a cycle, guys. So this is what I want you to do. I want you to identify, okay, we just got all the stress up to the surface. It was in your unconscious mind. We brought it to your awareness. Now you're aware of the resistance that you have to change, all of those pain points, all of the essential pains for changing and the earned rewards for staying the same and the things that are really stressing you out. And now we're going to deal with it. So, Laverne, are you off of mute?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me?
I can. Yep. And just a reminder, guys, join us back tomorrow. Tomorrow is a lot lighter on the content side, much, much lighter. We're just covering the biochemistry behind the EBT stuff and then doing a brain map. So it'll be a really fun volunteer opportunity for tomorrow. Okay. Cycle about the resistance. Were you here yesterday, Laverne?
Yes, it was very powerful.
Okay. Well, it's going to be powerful again today. You told me anger, let's see. Anger that you have to work at it, and then anger at your doctor. Like they didn't really tell you what to do. They just wanted to give you meds. So that's going to be the situation that we're starting with. We'll see where it goes. So you're just going to start with, well, the situation is, I have to figure out what I have to eat. And I'm angry that I have to make these changes. I'm angry at my doc. Actually, no, we're not supposed to talk about feelings yet. So the situation is, I have to change what I eat. My doctor didn't give me nutritional advice. So just the facts, no feelings. And anger will be fun. We'll ramp up into the anger. Okay.
Okay.
So about 5 sentences, just the facts, no feelings. The situation is.
The situation is I have to be super conscious of my nutrition, whereas I didn't before. My doctor has not given me concrete changes to make in my diet, and it's so frustrating and difficult.
What I'm most stressed about is,
What I'm most stressed about
and
is,
pause and let the words bubble up from your emotional brain.
what I'm most stressed about is the difficulty of all of these changes to my diet where before I could eat anything I wanted and I didn't have to think about it. Now I have to think about everything I put in my mouth. And it makes me so mad.
We're going to condense that down to 5 words. So we're going to use the power of the pause. What I'm most stressed about is, and then pause for a good 5 to 10 seconds and let about 5 words bubble up into your brain. What I'm most stressed about is,
How difficult it is to eat.
hmm, try one more time. What I'm most stressed about is,
What I'm most stressed about is knowing what to eat that will feed my body and when.
use the power of the pause. So say, what I'm most stressed about is, and then don't say anything else for like 5 or 10 seconds. What I'm
What
most stressed about is,
what I'm most stressed about is my body is breaking down.
mhm. Let me know when you feel connected and you're ready for more.
I'm ready.
Okay. I feel angry that my body is breaking down.
I feel angry that my body is breaking down.
I can't stand it that my body is breaking down.
I can't stand it that my body is breaking down.
Good. Really try to get into the anger. I hate it that my body
I
is breaking down.
I hate that my body's breaking down.
I hate it. I hate it. I hate it.
I hate it. I hate it. I hate it.
I really, really hate it.
I really hate it.
Good. 5 more hates. I hate that I don't know what to eat. I hate how much work this is.
I
I hate that
hate
my
that I
doctor
don't know
did
what
this.
to eat. I hate that I don't know when to eat. I hate that I don't know how much to eat. I hate that I'm having to measure and really think about nourishing myself. I hate it.
I
I
hate
really
how hard it is. I hate that
I
my doctor didn't tell me this stuff.
I hate how hard it is. I hate that my doctor didn't tell me how how hard this was going to be. I hate it.
Good. 5 more hates.
Oh my god, I hate measuring. I hate that stupid scale on my counter. I hate looking at food in the grocery store and trying to figure out what I can eat. I hate having these horrific cravings for things that I know are not good for me. Uh, I hate the holidays because I know it's going to include a bunch of food that I can't eat and I know that's not good for me. And in the past, I've really enjoyed. I hate that. God, I hate that.
I hate that I can't eat what I want.
I hate that I can't eat what I want. I hate that I have to measure and
Ah, it's so much work. I hate it. I hate how much work this is.
I hate how much work it is being this unhealthy or this, being a diabetic. I hate it. I hate it.
Stay in that anger.
I'm really, I hate going out to eat with friends and not knowing what to eat and being tempted by things that are not good for me, that I know are not good for me. I hate not having willpower and these cravings that are just insane. I hate I hate going shopping. I just hate it for food. I hate seeing things that I would like to try and eat, but I know they're not good for me. I hate having to work so hard at nutrition where in the past I didn't have to do that. I could just eat and you know.
Hmm. Mm-hmm.
And
And
I'm tired. I hate feeling so exhausted about food. And, I love to look at cookbooks, but the thought of, trying to figure out if I could eat that or if that's food, my food or whatever, it pisses me off.
Mhm. Good. Let out all the anger until your brain shuts off or it turns to tender, sweet sadness.
I think I've been in sadness for a bit.
You did so good. The first cycle is always the hardest for the anger.
Yeah.
So
I,
I feel sad that
I,
the loss to me about my body breaking down is
I feel sad that my body's breaking down. I feel sad that uh, it's so hard to keep myself vibrant and active. I feel sad that um,
use the power that was. So we're just going to say this section isn't about speaking as much as feeling. So I want you to say, I feel sad that, and pause and
okay.
let the words bubble up and then don't say anything else. Just feel that deep sadness. I feel sad that.
I feel sad that I'm too tired to do things that I used to love to do.
Mhm.
I feel sad that I look tired. I don't I don't look vibrant. Um,
And stay in that sadness. Just feel the feelings until they fade,
I,
unless something more poignant comes up. And let me know when you're ready for more.
I feel sad that I'm on the brink of maybe
Mhm.
losing my feet or my hands or my eyesight.
I think we just naturally moved into the I feel afraid that.
I feel afraid of losing my feet and my hands. I feel afraid of having a stroke. I feel afraid of being a burden to my children.
You're doing beautiful.
I feel I feel sad that I've lost friends because of my health, my inability to go and do.
Stay in that fear.
I
Just
feel
feel that fear.
I feel afraid that I'm going to die before my real time because
Mhm.
I'm unhealthy.
Okay, just stay there.
I
No.
feel I feel afraid that changes in diet won't work and then it's too late.
Mhm. Nice deep breaths. Really connect your body.
I feel afraid that I'm going to be homebound and lose time with my children and my little dog. Uh, I feel afraid that I will have something catastrophic happen to me health wise.
Okay. Just feel the feelings. No more words. Just feel that fear until it fades. It will fade. Let me know when you're ready for more.
I'm ready.
Beautiful work. Beautiful work, Laverne. Go ahead and sit up nice and tall and say, "Hey, everybody.
Hey guys. I
I I do have some power here.
do have power here.
I feel guilty that my body is breaking down.
I feel guilty that my body is breaking down.
Why don't I just do the logical thing and
Why don't I just do the logical thing and embrace a new lifestyle that is going to require me to work a little bit at my nutrition,
Mhm. And
work
embrace Embrace a new lifestyle.
Embrace a new lifestyle that's going to make me have to exercise, uh, do air squats, walk more, um, maybe lift some weights.
So why don't I just do the logical, sensible thing?
So
And
why
what's
don't
like the next logical step that you could take?
the next logical step that I can take is to start looking at my food, macros, reduce my stress, first of all,
Hmm.
reduce my stress.
Yes, let's stop there. Why
Yeah.
don't I just do the logical, sensible thing and reduce my stress?
Why don't I do the logical, sensible thing and reduce my stress?
Perfect. My positive, powerful thought is, well, I can do that, or it's the right thing to do, or it matters to me.
My positive, powerful thought is I can do that.
Yeah, I can lower my stress.
I can
Now,
lower my stress.
the essential pain is it could be something like, I'm not perfect. I am alone. I'm not in complete control. I must receive help. I must give my time to myself. It takes work.
The essential pain is I'm not in control.
Mm. My earned reward for lowering my stress, even though I'm not in full control, is it sanctuary, peace and power from within, authenticity, vibrancy, integrity, intimacy, spirituality, or freedom? What's the earned reward that's going to motivate you enough to overcome this resistance and lower your stress?
Um, can you say them again?
Mhm. So sanctuary, peace and power from within, authenticity, feeling whole and being genuine, and then vibrancy, healthy with a zest for life, integrity for doing the right thing, intimacy, giving and receiving love, and then spirituality and freedom, a life of joy and purpose.
And the first part?
Sanctuary, that one?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Peace and power from within. Yeah.
Hmm.
So I want you to feel any differences in your body. Do you feel tingles? Do you feel like a little bit lighter?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I feel like before it felt kind of like I had something on my chest,
Mhm.
and that's not there.
Hmm. Yeah, you did that. You did that naturally. You changed your
Yeah, yeah.
biochemistry with the EBT tools. You lowered your stress, and you can do this naturally without medications. You can lower your stress that way. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Can I give you a connecting message?
Yes.
Okay. Laverne, when you did your work, the feelings and sensations in my body were, oh, empathy, tension, care and concern, awe and admiration, and joy. And the way your work was a gift to me was, I think, hearing the layer after the layer after the layer, and remembering that sometimes when we're using these tools, we're so in our thinking brain
Mm.
that it can take a few tries to really allow the emotional brain a chance to speak. And I think it was a really powerful reminder that that's great and that's okay. And we just do the lead-ins as many times as we need to, and we use the power of the pause until we really find like the core of what's going on. So I think that was a really great cycle to hear that.
Well, and I'm going to say this. Some of those feelings are just so scary. I mean, just, they're scary.
Yeah. And I think that your emotional brain doesn't cough them up until it feels safe to cough them up.
Hmm.
And I think that now that we have the tool, and this is just one of the tools, but this is a really good tool to cycle through that stress. And so
Hmm.
it's not as scary to bring up scary things if you know how to end in joy, which you just
Hmm.
did. Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
Yeah. No, absolutely.
Good. Well, thank you so much. What was the most important thing that you learned from that?
Well, my resistance to change is very, it's just very stupid. It's really like, you know, getting in my kitchen and creating good food for myself. I deserve that, and
Yeah.
what comes back on the other side is going to just me being feeling better, and why wouldn't I want that for myself? What is it about that, you know, why wouldn't I want that for myself?
Yeah, well, you do. And there's just
Yeah,
circuits that are getting in the way of that. And
that's it. That's
we
it.
didn't used to have the tools for that, but we do now.
Yeah.
So, what a
Yeah.
great learning. Thank you so much. That was an amazing. You did such beautiful work, both with identifying your essential pains and earned rewards, but then also really getting into the resistance. And that was beautiful. And I really appreciate your time and energy to do that today.
You're welcome. Thank you for your help.
Yes, my pleasure. Okay, we will wrap it up here. We'll obviously not a lot of time for Q&A, but I know Betsy answered a ton in the chat. We will answer a lot in the Q&A section that will be up by Friday on the replay page. And be sure to come tomorrow. Again, more EBT stuff tomorrow, more biochemistry on stress and insulin resistance. It's so interesting. And I really appreciate you all being here. I'm just going to stop my share and if check out the chat in case there is anything that anyone wanted to say.
And how do we get that download of those quick meals?
Yeah, so the 5 minute meal download, someone, if you scroll up in the chat,
Oh, I see it. Okay.
yeah, yep. And then I'll also put that in the resources section under the day 2 replay. Yep.
Okay.
And I just wanted to read Wanda's comment. I applaud you, Laverne, for your willingness to be so vulnerable. Thank you. You are awesome. And believe me, you
Oh,
help
that's
people here
sweet.
more than you probably realize.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And you guys, I just really appreciate each and every one of you being here. I just It's so fun what we get to, co-create together. So Laverne, what did we co-create today together? You can say we are creating love and clarity.
Acceptance.
Love that. Love and acceptance. Yes. Okay. So on the count of 3, we're going to we are creating love and acceptance in our lives. And this is the first time I saw your face, Laverne. So it's really
Oh,
cool to
sorry.
see.
My
No,
hair is, it's
that's
crazy.
great. But during that whole cycle, it's kind of fun to see who you're talking to. So that's great. Okay, on the count of 3, we are creating love and acceptance in our lives today. 1, 2, 3. Oh, come off of mute. Sorry. False start. Everybody come off of mute so we can hear you. Okay. 1, 2, 3. We
We
are
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 creating
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 love
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 and
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 acceptance in
acceptance
our
acceptance
in
lives
our
in our
today.
lives
And
day.
it
today.
feels so good.
And it
Yeah,
feels
thank you
great.
guys.
Thank
Wow.
you.
My
Amen.
pleasure.
Thank
How
you.
do you come back tomorrow? Anne Marie said. Anne Marie, you'll receive an email with the link to join, and you'll just click that coral button again. And if you need any help joining live, you can email support@zivly.com. Kendra is our amazing customer support person who can shoot you that link live if needed. Guys, have a beautiful rest of your day. Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye.